Hello Flosstube, my name's Debbie. I'm MamaBearStitchery here on Flosstube and on Instagram, and this is a channel all about cross stitch. Today is a special episode and I'm going to give you my WIP parade of all the projects that I'm going to work on in 2021. But before we get started, welcome, whether you're new or whether you're a returning viewer. I hope you enjoy what you see today or enabled by some projects. I know I am. I'm enjoying the WIP parades right now that everybody's putting out. Before we start with the project, a quick little recap in case you are new. Like I said, my name's Debbie. I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland, but I currently, as of 5 years ago, live in the Bay Area of California with my family, which include my husband Piotr and two girls, Maya and Elena, who are 9 and 7, and our dog Dexter came with us from Scotland. And they're all super supportive of my channel and my video and my cross stitch hobby, and especially Piotr, who will be editing this video, and for your convenience will be, when we get started, we'll put in pictures here of all the cover photos so we can just whiz through these WIPs because there's 88 of them, so buckle in. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I'm participating in NoNewStarts 2021 next year. My album's ready, it's been approved, and I'm ready to go. But it's a lot of projects, and in fact you can see them listed in the board up here, so hopefully as the year goes on we'll see some gaps appear as I can take the little tags off. I like being able to see that they're coming out of the WIP pile or project pile, but yeah, I'm excited for it. And as well as NoNewStarts 2021, I'm going to be participating in School of Magical Stitches, Semi-Sane Stitchers, Full Coverage Fanatics, and new to me, WIPGO, run by Jessie Marie Does Stuff of Flosstube, and it's a group on Facebook, and it's essentially a bingo board that you fill with your projects however you like. You set your own goals and you set your own rewards, but every month 2 numbers will be called, and when you meet your goal you can colour them in. And I've made some lofty goals in that I want to see the projects I've filled in the WIPGO board finished, so I'll point those out as we get to them. But saying that, we should just get started because you haven't got all day to watch this, and hopefully you make it through to the end. So yeah, we're going to start with the projects that are currently free-ranging about the house, either because I've worked on them recently or plan to in this little run up to New Year before all the challenge groups kick off with their new challenges, because in the past those kind of groups have really helped me get finishes, and in this year in 2020 I've had 25 finishes already, so they've helped. And the rest of the projects are in these top 3 boxes here, and so nothing's in a particular order, we'll just go through them. And I might have a little break after each little batch to clear up, because this WIP parades generate a lot of mess and disorganization, so but you won't notice the difference, we'll smoosh everything together. So that being said, let's get started. Okay, to kick off this WIP parade, my first project is by Cat, and it is a kit by Owl Forest Embroidery. I'm using the kit fabric and floss. They're all over dies, and this week I've been working on filling in this cat's tail, and I think this one will stitch up pretty quick, and it's one of the reasons I put this on my WIPGO board to finish this year, well, next year. And yeah, I think I might work on this last little bit of this bottom corner before I put it away for something else, and then hopefully it'll be called early in the year, because I would like to work on this one again. But yeah, and it's on like a kind of yellow that came with the fabric. Oh, and this is the needle minder tube. This came with the kit. But that's project number 1. Number 2, sorry if I looked down at my notes, is Story Keep Pocahontas. This is by Melanie Dellon, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and I have a love-hate relationship, mostly hate, with this project. This is the second time I started it. Here, let me just show you. I've started this project twice already. The first time the chart was wrong too, and I couldn't rip it out. And this is one of the ones affected by the DMC, is it number 8 and 9? And there's no way I can rip it out because it's most of her hair and legs. So I'm just leaving it out, but I do want to see it finished, and for that reason it is on my WIPGO board. And I'm stitching this 2/1 tent or half stitch on 25 easy count fabric. It doesn't look as bad in the camera, so maybe it will work, maybe it'll be fine. But yeah, I would like to see this one finished. So I have this half page that you can see to the side, and then another page and a half underneath, and then 2 little partials on the bottom. So it is finishable this year. And I'm going to keep working on, I just took it off the Q-snaps to show you, but there's some ninja stitches you can see just in here. And I'm going to finish that page up hopefully today or tomorrow, and then put it away until January for when the Full Coverage Fanatics challenges kick off for the year. So hopefully that will be a finish too. So it's 2 for 2 for WIPGO. My next project is Celestial Dragon by Joan Elliott. And this one is on the Q-snap because this was going to be my rainy day project. Just like, so I would work on it every time it rains, but here in California we've not had much rain so far, but I am about 2 days behind. We did have rain during the night, so this is this one. And this is stitched on a 32 count linen called Witching Hour from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this is a perfect night sky fabric. And I've actually ordered another piece of this recently. So yeah, that's him. And I'm not looking for, I think I'm going to fill in his wing and avoid the moon that is full of Kreinik as far as possible. My next is Stars Bright by Lindy Stitches. And I worked on this one this month too. And this is on a 32 count Lugana called April Showers by Bee Stitch Me. It's a nice bright blue. And this is on my WIPGO board too. And this month I put in all these squares down this side. I just had the top ones I think before. But they take a long time to stitch up each of those little squares. And for this one I'm actually using a stash floss conversion. Trying to make it near the original, but it works. It's like granny squares. So yeah, that's on my WIPGO board to finish this year too. Well, next year. I keep saying this year, but I mean 2021. Not this year. That's not manageable. My next is Bird Table, and this is an Anchor Premier kit. And this project is actually my oldest project now. And that's all I have. I think I started this one about 6 or 7 years ago and just put it away. I don't know how I managed to work on it. I didn't make a working copy of the chart. It's full of fractionals, and it was back when I started stitching, so. And Lisa of Shady Tree Stitchers, an admin of NoNewStarts, proposed picking a project to work on for 30 minutes a day during the week. So I think I'm going to use this project for that, so that I actually get some steady progress throughout the year. And yeah, this is on my WIPGO board too. So hopefully we'll see big progress on that one. Next project is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And I got this chart when it was a free release. And this is how much I have so far. I haven't worked on this one in a while, but I think if I take it off the Q-snaps, I won't put it on because it's so big. So I think if I leave it on the Q-snaps, at least I can stitch in a couple of threads now and then and just keep going with it. And I'm stitching this one on 25 easy count and 1/1 full cross. And I'm using the DMC colors 920, 823, 915 and 937. And I think half my battle's working out where I'm putting the colors, but hopefully I can work on this section next up here and then maybe fill in as I go. I should work on that one, especially while we're still in the shelter at home in California. I think we've been shelter at home since March, so I should probably keep steadily working on that one. My next project is Snippet of Loki. I think this is a retired chart. It retired soon after I got it. It's by Helen Clark and it's from Charting Creations. And here is where I am. I think this is the first 3 pages done and just starting to get to his eye there. And this is, did I say? This is on 28 count, easy count, and I'm stitching this 2 over 1/10 stitch. And I'm not sure why, but we had to declare a full coverage project for School of Magical Stitches. I think the details come out this week of why, and I picked this project as my focus piece. I love Highland cows. You can see I have one here. So yeah, hopefully this one will be out for quite a few times this year. Next is another kit, and it is Winter Cabin by Dimensions Gold. And here is where I am. This one is full of full cross, half cross. Yeah, this one you need to be awake to work on, and lots of back stitch. But I've done all this corner, and I will definitely be working on this one again in January for the Full Coverage Fanatics Bingo Challenge. I've filled in my chart a couple of places where I want to get some good progress on this one, especially while we're in winter, even though you wouldn't think it here in California. Like, I mean, I still have a t-shirt on. It's not that bad. So that's that one. The next one is another Owl Forest kit, and it is called Hyperborea. I've been calling it Winter Forest, but the actual name on the box is Hyperborea, and you see it's a long, skinny piece of fabric. There's this on their website, it's divided up into 3 kits, or you can buy it all as one, which is what I did. And this month I put in the owl, and again this comes with the fabric, all the over dyed threads, and this one actually comes with the 3 needle minders for all 3 parts. So that's that one. Oh, they're clipping together. My next one was a recent start, and it is Huckleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. I love this one. It's a sampler of bears, and I don't know why I put off starting it for so long until my friend Jules and Jamie started it, and I was like, I'm joining too. So, but they're a bit further ahead than I am, so maybe I should leave this one out to work on. Let me just show you. And that's as far as I've got, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Tanzanite by Silkweaver, and I think I didn't start it for so long because I'm doing a stash floss conversion. I have so many floss from when I was in floss clubs that I just hoarded, and all these things that take so many over dyed threads, I thought I'm just going to use what I have in stash and free the floss. But I think that's what was the mental block, was working out where to use colour. So I'm just kind of working it out as I go and just making sure I make lots of notes. So I might leave that one out to work on, at least get all the writing in above that bit. My next project is Advent Animals, and this is by Brooks Books, and this is a freebie on her website. And like everything that I can, I will link it below. So you can go find this one if this is what you want to do as well. And I'm hoping to try and stitch them all this year. I have big stitch goals. So far I have these ones done already, and the frames for the next 2 there. They're so cute and they're so bright. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count Joblin in the colour Denim Blue, and this is by Zweigart. And I just got this from 123. But it really makes the white pop on each little ornament. And I will be finishing them individually, but it's easier to stitch on one big piece. And in fact, there's another one that I finished, Deborah Donkey. I think it was my most recent finished one. And the rest, for the purposes of NoNewStarts, I have all the frames done for the rest. Because even though I'm finishing them individually, each piece of fabric actually is what counts as the WIP. So that's why in my WIP album they're listed like as block of 6s. So that's that. And it's a great blue. The last one in the free roaming pile of projects before we start digging into the boxes is Hippo Reflection, who I affectionately name Ned the Head. And this is a chart by Artsy. And here is where I am at. I almost have the first page done. And this is on 25 easy count, and I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross. And this project you might see a lot of this year because it is my full coverage focus piece for 21 in 21 for full coverage fanatics. So we have to stitch 21,000 stitches on one project. So hopefully I'll get a few more pages of him complete. And that's him. Okay, I will pack this away and grab the first box out. Okay, from the first box from the shelf, the first project is Renaissance Mermaid by Mamabear. And I am stitching this one, I think this was my most recent mirror start. I'm stitching this one on 32 count Joblin in the colour Incoming Storm by Under the Sea Fabrics. And it's a beautiful blue with grey mottling. And she has such a pretty face. This box is very mirror heavy, I realised. My next project is another mermaid, and it is Red Mermaid. It's a kit by RTO. And, oh, let me grab this. This is where I am. This, like a typical Russian kit, is full of blends. And she has a lot of hair, but I should really pick this one back up. That's her. And I'm using the kit fabric and the kit floss. I wish I had changed the fabric out though, because the Ada marks really easily with a Q-snap. So if you are doing this one, just make sure you put some felt in your Q-snap to stop that happening, because it leaves almost like a shine where the Q-snap grips it. That's that one. Another mirror, it is August Paradox Fairy. And I haven't got much done on her. But this is on another Under the Sea fabric. It's 32 count Lugana in the colour Looking Glass. And this is one of my favourite fabrics, because it's such a universal, it can be used for everything. And it has just some gentle mottling on the Lugana. Again, I think that was a retreat start, and not much was done since the retreat. Next is the Quilting Bee. This is by the Blue Flower. And here is where I am. Not very much. I think this was a Mania start. I'm using the Call for Overdyed threads, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Tiramisu by Under the Sea Fabrics. But I would like to see this one finished, so this is on my WIPGO board this year, next year. I'll get it right eventually. Next is Marie Antoinette by Lena Lawson Needle Arts. And again, I think this was a Mania start maybe 2 years ago. Her eyes are all over one. And I'm stitching this on an opal even weave. I'm not sure what the colour is, but it's definitely a seraphim fabric. And that's her, tiny start. Now this one is a Heaven and Earth design. It's Endurance. The artwork is Arden Ellen Nixon, but it is not a full coverage. Doesn't have a background, but the whole center is full coverage, and then you just have the little Japanese lettering on either side. But this, I think this is one page, and you can see his head there. But I love this one. I actually have this one fully kitted, so I should probably put some work into him. The next is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. And I'm stitching this with the Call for threads on 40 count. I think it's Selkie by Under the Sea Fabrics. And that's that one. And I put this one down because I know I'm off one over here. I wrote to myself on my working copy, but I didn't put where, so I think that's why I put this one down. But this one can be finished. It's not that big. Another Heaven and Earth design is Quick Stitch Carnivorous Bouquet Fairy. The artwork is Jasmine Beckett Griffith. I love her. I love her artwork. I don't know if you can see in the middle there. I have some of her, all these ones, and Maya has some in her bedroom. She has prints in her shop, Strangeling. So I bought some of hers, and you get pins sometimes with her artwork, so we have some of those. But this is Quick Stitch Carnivorous Bouquet Fairy, and this was one of the first Heaven and Earth designs I started. And this is stitched on 25 count, 1/1 full cross. So hopefully some of the full coverage challenges and full coverage fanatics will see some progress on her this year. Next is a Joan Elliott. It's Oriental Lady Wisdom. I just have some black in here. I think this again was a Mania start that never got touched afterwards. And this is on a 32 count white Lugana from Zweigart. Next is a project that I would like to finish this year. So it's on my WIPGO project, my WIPGO board, and it is The Beekeeper by Plum Street Samplers. And I just have a tiny start. And I'm using all the call for overdyed threads, and this is on a piece of 40 count StitchCon limited edition by Colour & Cotton. I won this from Melissa, the Cupcake Stitcher, here on Flosstube. And it's a beautiful colour, a beautiful neutral. And yeah, that's on my WIPGO board, so it's not very big, so I think I can finish that. The next one is my first Merejka kit. It is called Mushrooms. And I've got this one because my husband Piotr, he used to pick mushrooms with his family when they were in Poland. It was before they moved to South Africa. They would go out and pick wild mushrooms and make soups and things like that. So I'm going to stitch this for him. So this is Merejka Mushrooms. And I just have a tiny start. But I'm using the call for Ada that comes with the kit and the floss. And the Merejka kits are really, really nice. I just bought myself one from Piotr for myself. It was my birthday last week, so I bought it's like a cat with a village playing. He's playing the bagpipes and there's a village inside his body. It's really cool. I'll show that in my next video. We'll just stick with whips this time. Next project is Happy Bat by Alessandra Adelaide. This was a Mania start this year, so that's why we only have a tiny bit there. And I'm stitching this in the Call for DMC on 28 count black Monaco. This one is super bright. I love this one. Another Mira up next is Silver Moon Tea. And this is a full coverage, so I might use this in some of the full coverage Fanatics challenges to try and get one Mira finished at least this year. And here is where I am. You can't really see much. It's just her skin on the pink just now, but this is pretty much full coverage design. And this is an unknown opal even weave. I maybe wrote it down somewhere in the past, so if you want to know I can find it, but that's where we are. And speaking of Melissa, the Cupcake Stitcher, I bought this chart. It's called Day of the Dead, and the artwork's by Maria Dimova, and I bought it from a Dick to Cross Stitch on Etsy. And I bought this after seeing Melissa's finish of it. I loved it. And I think this is only the first 2 pages, but I'm almost at the middle of her head. It's super bright. I love this chart. And I'm stitching this on 28 count easy count, 2/1 10th stitch. Is that one? Now this Mira I actually do have on my WIPGO board to finish, so hopefully. It's Gathering Eggs. It's an old one. Mine's in a magazine that I got on eBay, but you can buy it as the chart. And here is where I am. I think I started this one in Mania too, but it's a little bit different for Mira. And I'm stitching this on 32 count raw natural. It was a piece from Joanne's. Next is a Joan Elliott, Earth Goddess. I started this one at retreat and did not touch it since the retreat. And again, this is on another piece of Looking Glass, 32 count Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. And that's that one. Another Joan Elliott, and this one is on my WIPGO board to finish, and this is probably my most ambitious project to actually get finished when you see how much I've started. Yeah, this is my most ambitious piece on my WIPGO board, and it is Ladybird Fairy by Joan Elliott. All I have is her sash. But this is on a piece of 32 count Opal Lugana in the colour Gaia from Stitchery. Yeah, long way to go. This next project was a recent start, I think in the last month, and it is Mary Queen of Scots sampler by Papillion Creations. I got this as a PDF download from their website, and here is, I just have a tiny start, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Spellbound by Under the Sea fabrics, and I'm using Gloriana silk in the colour Deep Blue Sea, and it goes from a really dark green to a really dark teal, but it's really nice to stitch with, so I highly recommend it. We're almost at the end of this box. The next one is Scarlet Macaw. Well, that's what it's called in the book, but Kim Spartan Stitcher, she pointed out that it's actually a Catalina macaw. And it's by Jane LeMahieu from the book Cross Stitch Jungle. I don't have much sorry, it was a mania start. I think it goes this way. That's just part of his beak. And this is on a 32 count light blue Lugana by Zweigart. That's all I have so far. It's got his big old head to go. Last project from this box, or first box anyway, is the Hope Sampler by Moira Blackburn. And here is where I am. I'm stitching this on 40 count Whimsical Winter by Under the Sea Fabrics. It's like a greenish grey colour. It's nice. And that is our first box. 2 more to go. Ready for the next batch? First is Furry Friends by Margaret Sherry, and this was from an issue of World of Cross Stitching. I can't remember the exact issue right now, but I'll put in the notes below. And here is where I am. One little milestone. I'm stitching this on 32 count Antique White Jublin, and this is on my board for a WIPGO finish. Shouldn't be too bad. This next project I actually worked on this month, and it is All Souls Veerlanden by Quiltified Designs on Etsy, and I'm stitching this on 40 count Selkie by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using the gentler thread colour Lagoon. And this month I filled in the rest of this design here, and then it's hard to hold up, but the designs down the bottom, I came back round and started on those pages. And again, this is on my WIPGO board as to finish. Next is a kit. It is Autumn Leaves by Bothy Threads. I don't think you can get these ones anymore. I think that all the gorgeous ones went out of print. But you can see this is a printed fabric, and I've just started her face. Yep, so I'm using kit fabric and kit floss. I actually have the summer one of this one too, where she's lying on the beach towel. My next project is Me So Cute and Soy Cute by the Frosty Pumpkin Stitchery. And this is another WIPGO project. I'm stitching both pieces. I can't remember the name of this fabric, but it's the printed one where it's plain on the back and it has this on the front. It's from 123 Stitch. So that's a WIPGO project too. Next is another Mirabilia. It is Lady of the Flag. And I am stitching her on 32 count linen in the colour Winterbrook by Under the Sea Fabrics. There, that's a good colour. It's kind of like a greenish grey. Next is another kit. It is called Ocelot and it is by Luca S. It's my first and only Luca S kit. I'm using the fabric and the floss that comes with it. And you can see his big eye. So hopefully this one will be out in January for full coverage Fanatic Bingo. Yeah, that's that one. And I think that's a 16 count, I'm not sure. This next one's another full coverage, so it's not even worth really showing yet. But it's called Soma, and it is by Unconventional X Stitch on Etsy, and it's the artwork of Christopher Lovell, or Lovell. And I'm stitching this on 28 count fabric, easy count, 2/1 10 stitch. I actually had to look really close to even find it, because it's 400, you can see where it's blurred out lines, but 400 white on white stitches, and the next colour in is 3865. So I won't see anything there for a while. This one you will definitely see something. This is Dark Queen of the Seas Stitch Along or Style by Autumn Lane Stitchery and Under the Sea Fabrics. They're working together on this. And I have finished part 3. And I'm stitching her in 28 count joblin in the colour Coloris by Under the Sea Fabrics. And this was, part 3 was the first Choose Your Own Adventure where we were given 2 faces and 2 hair. And actually they did another add-on pack for multiple hair colours, but I chose the face from one version and then the hair from the other and just made them work. Because Aaron's done it so that you can mix and match. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I wonder if we're going to go up the way or get somewhere down the way this month on the 1st. But I really love this one. The next project is another full coverage and it is Under the Flowers by Marine Loop and it's charted by Pain Free Crafts. And here's where I am. There's lots of threads hanging because at this point I was doing it block by block. I'm still trying to find the method that works best for me. But this is 28 count easy count and I'm stitching this 2/1/10 stitch. And actually this project I have pegged for in Full Coverage Fanatics. There is a challenge, Stitch Your Way Around Iceland, where it's you stitch the amount, each leg has got an amount of stitches. And somebody's made a spreadsheet too that you can use. So that is the project that I'm going to use for that. My next one is a free design and it is on Doreen Jones's Facebook group and it is Trick or Treat and it has 4 little pieces. And I'm stitching this on 32 count opal linen in the colour Anthea by Under the Sea Fabrics. And that's that one. My next is, I'm actually stitching this one 3 times. It's called I Am the Night and I'm not putting a little cross on its forehead, but I think I'm going to give it the fuzzy hair. And it is by the Witch Stitcher. So I've got the first black bit of the first back done, starting the second one. And I think I'm going to stitch them all 3 in different colours because it's for our Christmas tree, which is a little bit unusual. And for Maya and Elena, they both have their own Christmas tree in the rooms. So I'm going to make cute little bats ornaments. My next one is another WIPGO project and it is Little Red Riding Hood by the Prairie Schooler. And here's where I am. I'm using the Call for GMC and I'm stitching this on 28 count antique white joblin. And I think I can finish this one. I did this one in this center panel in less than a week. So I think I can manage this one for WIPGO. Another Halloween design is Halloween at Hollyberry Farm by Stacey Nash Primitives. It's really hard to say for a Scottish person. All the essays. Yeah, Stacey Nash Primitives. And this is just a tiny start. This is on 40 count Mulberry by Silkweaver. And I'm doing a Stash Floss colour conversion. I don't think it has that many colours in it, so that's not going to be a difficult conversion. Next is A Walk in the Woods by the Cricket Collection. And I think this was a Mania start. Sorry, that's why I only have a tiny amount. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Antique White by Zweigart. So just a little centre start. Oh, the next one's, their needle minders are stuck together. The next is Lunar Witch, again by Autumn Lane Stitchery. And I just have a little start there. And I'm stitching this on 32 count joblin in the colour Fruit Punch by Hand Dye Fabrics by Stephanie. And I'm using the DMC Etoile for all the moon symbols that are in the archway above the witch to give it a little bit sparkle. Yeah, I didn't use it for the black, just for the gold so far. That one. The next one is a kit. It is called Sun and Moon by Mill Hill. And and this one I didn't count very well and I'm very close to the edge, but it's fine. I'll trim it because I have the big gap here. I didn't know at the time that if you drew an X on the back and then that your center start would be in the middle, it would make you have more measurement or more space. So it is where it is, it'll fit. So that's sun and moon. Next is Bear in the Birches, and this is by Charlie Harper in Stitches. I think it goes this way with the grey on the bottom. I think so. And this is on a 32 count white Lugana. And it's all in DMC. I think there's only 4 colours. Next is, this one's a mashup. This one is Midnight Way and Halloween Town, and I think it's Penny's Potions by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and I'm putting them all together to make like one street. And I have some of the pen pals too that I'm going to try and work in, that the little trick-or-treaters are on the street. But this is where I am so far, and I'm just using a bunch of the colours that are in there. And I actually think for Penny's Potions, I might give this like a second floor, because it's next is Midnight Way next, and the shops are taller, so I might give this like a little second floor. And I'm stitching this one on a 32 count Joblin that doesn't have a name. It was from a Bee Stitch Me Friday Night Fight Night. The next one is another Dimensions kit. It is Santa and Snowman Stocking, and I'm using the kit fabric and the kit floss. And this one's for Maya because I finished Elena's stocking last year, so she's asking when hers will be done. This next one's a bright one. I might have to wheel back a little bit. It is Halloween at Hot Crun Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. And I am stitching this on 40 count Hocus Pocus by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And that is that one. I would like to work on this one again. Just each of those squares being almost, some of them are almost like full coverage, like the mermaid one. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So that's that one. Ooh, near the end of this box already. The next one is a family patchwork by Modern Folk Embroidery, and this was their 2020 stitch along. I bought it halfway through the year and haven't stitched much on it, but I'm stitching this one on 40 count Stonewashed by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using DMC 3865. I wanted it to look a little bit like delicate, like lace, and you can see that. And the last one from this box is another full coverage. It is Otter Nonsense by Artisay. And I only started this one not that long ago. And here is my start on page 1. And mostly I stitch full finish color complete across the page. So this is on 25 count, easy count, 1/1 full cross. And that is that box. I'll clear this up and we will get the final box out. We are on the final box. I was so naive. I thought this would take me like 2 hours maximum. I think we're approaching hour 3. Okay, first project from the last box is Pop-Up Stores 2. I'm only stitching the Coffee Shop by Soza Stitch. And here is where I am. I'm stitching this on the 32 count grey Petty Point from Zweigart. And this is another WIPGO project. So hopefully we'll finish that one. Next is Yellow Polka Dot Bikinis by Plum Sheet Samplers. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Selkie by Under the Sea Fabrics, and I'm using all the called for over dyed threads. I think I bought this at one of the Undersea Fabrics retreats. We went to one of the local needle workshops, and I think I kitted that up at the shop. Next is Unicorn Tapestry by Tiny Modernist. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Blue Azure Lugana by Zweigart, using all the call for DMCs. Another Mira, Raven Queen. And I'm stitching this on 28 count joblin in the colour Bridget, Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. The next one's a big one. Quaker Seasons of Friendship by Crown and Thistle. I think I got this from, is it not Sunny Dyes? I can't remember who I found it from a shop. I'll put the details below. Quaker Seasons of Friendship. And I'm stitching this on 40 count antique white linen using DMC 4025. I started in the bottom corner. This is one of the 2 Songbird Garden series I have started. It's Songbird Garden number 9 by Cottage Garden Samplings. And I have some of the words started. And this is on 36 count smoke blue linen by Zweigart. And I'm using all the DMC. This is another WIPGO project. It's called Moths and Bugs, and it's from the Etsy shop Punochka. And I'm stitching this. Oh, sorry. I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana in the colour Nyx from Under the Sea Fabrics. And it's all charted in DMC. And that is a WIPGO project. The next one I actually thought was, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a WIPGO, I just haven't wrote it down, is Alice Meets the Caterpillar by Gera. And there's what we have, just a corner. And this is all in DMC. And this was on a scrap piece of witch fabric, which I'm not a massive fan of, but it matched the model colour at the time. That's what I had, so that's what I used. I'm pretty sure this is a WIPGO project, I just haven't wrote it in my notes. Next is Sampler aux Fleurs by Jardin Privé. And I'm stitching this on 36 count antique white linen by Zweigart. And I'm stitching it all in DMC 931. Another WIPGO project is Le Charbos, I don't know if that's how you say it, by Nimue or Nimue. And I'm stitching this on 32 count joblin in the colour Soaring Dragonfly, Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Another WIPGO project, there seems to be quite a lot in this box, is My Favourite Apron by Barbara Anna. And this one I'm doing a complete stash floss conversion. Thankfully I left them all in the bag because I didn't write myself notes. And this is on 32 count Lugana Looking Glass by Under the Sea Fabrics. You can see this is one of my favourite fabrics. I've said it often enough already in this WIP parade. Oops, sheets. The next one is Panda by Tarasova. It's an Etsy shop. I just have a tiny start. This was a Mania start. I can't remember what this fabric is, but I can find it if anybody wants to know. Another Soda Stitch pattern. It is Rabbit's Journey. And I have one tiny little rabbit started. And this is on a fabric 32 count Jovelin in the colour, I've googled so many times how to say this and I can never remember it, Calliope by Under the Sea Fabrics. Next is Prey by Teresa Kogut. And this is on, I just only have the little bit above her head done. And this is on 32 count linen in the colour Selkie from Under the Sea Fabrics. Next is Sunny Waves by Peppermint Purple. And I only have enough started for NoNewStarts to meet the requirement. And this is on a 28 count just white Monaco because it's all black work. It's nice and stiff to work on for that. Another WIPGO project is another in the Songbird Garden series. This is number 11 by Cottage Garden Samplings. Again, just the writing in the middle. And this is on 36 count Tiramisu by Under the Sea Fabrics. And this is a WIPGO, or hopefully a WIPGO finish. A Stitchery pattern. This is Strike a Balance. I'm sure you've seen this one around. And I'm stitching mine on 18 count Ada. I love the colours in her patterns. She's really, really good with colour. That's that one. Next is a Prairie Moon. Thine is the Trick and the Treat. I'm stitching this all in DMC 310. And I'm stitching this on 32 count Out of the Blue by Fiberlicious. I love this fabric. Another WIPGO project, The Harvest Keeper by Plum Street Samplers. Oh, tiny start. And this is on 36 count Wren by Picture This Plus. And I'm using all the over-dyed flosses and I'm stitching this 1/2 to give it the more prim look. Next project is Bower Birds by Hello from Liz Matthews. There we go. And this is on 36 count Smoke Blues Weigart linen, and I'm using DMC 3865. Next is Birds Patchwork Style by River Drift House. And this is charted all in DMC, and I'm stitching this on 32 count White Lugana. Another full coverage, Inquisitive. This is artwork of Sandra Cook, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth. This one almost didn't make it into my NoNewStarts haul. This is stitched on 28 count, 2/1, 10 stitch. And again, this was where I was doing it by blocks and then switched to going down the column by colour. Not much done on that one. Next project is another Mirabella. It is Snow Queen. Oh, there we go. Can you see? And this is stitched on 32 count opal linen in the colour Aurora by Crafty Kitten. This is a huge piece. I think this is the fat half of fabric for her. Okay, switch paper. Next is another WIPGO project, and it is Into the Jungle by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I rarely finish stitch alongs in the time that you're supposed to, or as it's running. So I want this one finished and out of my WIP pile, so that's why I'm putting it on my WIPGO board. A good few animals still to go, but definitely doable. And this is on 32 count Joblin in the colour Maya by Under the Sea Fabrics. Oh, next one is another big one, and it is And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. And I only have a tiny bit started. This is on 40 count Antique White Linen by Zweigart, and I'm using all the Call for GMC. We're getting near the end. Next one is another WIPGO project, and it is Viva La Frida by Barbara Anna. And this is on a 40 count Mystery Lakeside Linen. I bought some pieces from 123 Stitch to try out and see if I liked it. I wish I'd kept the label because I don't know what this one actually is, but I hope to finish her this year. The next is one of my favourite projects, and it is definitely on my WIPGO board to finish, and it is Abracadabra by Soda Stitch. And that is where I am, 2 out of 5. And this is on 32 count Joblin in the colour Oasis by Colouring Cotton. So I hope to finish this. In fact, I might leave this one out and maybe try and get the little middle wizard or witch done. So then it will definitely be finishable this year. We are third from the bottom of the pile. Next is Witch on a Pig by Lena Lawson Needle Arts. And this one, you can see, this is stitched on 40 count Morning Mist by Fiberlicious. This will stand out a lot more once all the back stitches in, but I love that one. Another stitch ruby up next, Happy Skies. And this is on 28 count Dove Green Monaco, and I have all 3 in the set. That's that one. And our final project, and well done if you've stuck this far, is Trick or Treat, and this is also by Lena Lawson Needle Arts. And this is on 32 count Joblin in the colour Hocus Pocus. Thank you for joining me today on my channel and seeing this WIP parade. I enjoy watching everyone else's, and yeah, I hope you come back. I'll be back at the end of January, and hopefully we'll start seeing some finishes and some of these tags coming off the board. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And so I hope you come back and join me then. And until then, I hope you have a safe and happy and stitchy rest of this holiday period, and I will see you in the new year. Until then, see you for now. Bye.